There are pros and cons to hiring a virtual CFO. In my previous episode, I shared the pros. Now we're going to get deep down and honest, and I'm going to share the cons to if you should really hire a virtual CFO. Let's go. Now that we've talked about the pros, let's talk about the cons, all right? Because I want to keep it real. I want to make sure you walk away with everything that you need, and I don't just make the pro side look amazing, and then the cons is like, yeah, she really didn't talk about it. So let's get into it. Con number one, hiring a CFO is a real investment, and it requires ROI and thinking about ROI up front, okay? I am not going to sugarcoat it here. Virtual CFO services are not inexpensive, okay? Depending on the CFO and the scope of service, you could be looking at anywhere between $2,500 and $8,500, and I've even seen it a little bit more than that, okay? And if your firm is navigating a slow season or still working towards having MRR, which is monthly consistent revenue, this can be a real challenging thing to afford, right? And so you want to factor that in, because if you're not ready for that, then you may not need to move forward with that. But here's what I can tell you also. A great CFO typically saves or help you generate more revenue, more profitability, and more cash flow. So then the benefits outweigh the investment and the cost. And the ROI should be that they're helping you do that either way it goes. But you have to approach it as an investment with an expected return and not just another expense on the profit and loss statement that you think tomorrow they are going to make it rain cash flow in your business, because that is not how it works, right? They are not miracle workers. What they do benefits you over time. Okay. And so if you are not yet in a place of consistent monthly revenue, it may not make sense to start with a CFO, and you maybe need to start with high touch advanced bookkeeping services for your firm. Con number two, you have to be willing to do something with the information. Now, your virtual CFO is going to bring you insight and recommendations and a clear financial picture of your business, but they cannot make you act. That is your part. I tell my clients all the time, listen, if you do what we tell you to do, your business will grow, period. But if you do nothing, you may be in the same position next year, and it's not going to be our fault, because our goal, our process is we need to bring the strategy, the insight, and the oversight and the foresight to the table. You have to do the work. Okay. I have seen CEOs invest in CFO services, receive incredible strategic guidance, and then do absolutely nothing with it, and then want to blame the CFO. Where they do that at? We're not doing that. But unfortunately, there are CEOs that do that, and I get it. Okay. Life got busy. Things happen. The numbers were a little bit shocking. But when you take the step to invest in a CFO, do the work. If you do not do the work, you cannot blame the CFO if you do not receive the results. A CFO is not a magic worker. They're not a miracle worker. Okay? All right. So, con number three, the right fit matters a lot, enormously. Okay? Not all CFOs are created equal. I say that a lot. Not all CFOs is going to bring the type of work that you need to have. Okay? Some CFOs are just glorified bookkeepers and accountants. And while they're great in that role, they may not be the CFO. So some CFOs are great with numbers, but struggle to communicate in a way that actually makes sense to you. And so you have to understand that some specialize in product-based businesses and simply do not understand the consulting model, right? If you work with the wrong CFO, someone who does not understand your industry, your revenue model, or your growth goals, it is going to be a frustrating and expensive experience. All right. This is exactly why specializing matters so much. The financial dynamic of a consulting firm is unique, right? We're talking about project-based revenue and high margin services and capacity planning and client concentration risk and so much more. And you want someone who truly understands your space and can help you navigate through it positively and profitably. All right? Okay. Number 4, there is an onboarding period. Now, when you bring on a virtual CFO, expect to ramp up, right? They need to get into your books. They need to understand your business model. They need to clean up any historical mess. They need to build the financial infrastructure from the ground up, because oftentimes it does not exist. And so that first 30 to 90 days can be slow, and you want to prepare for it. You want to be patient with the process, okay? Because the setup work is what makes all of the strategy possible. You simply cannot build a solid financial foundation on a shaky base. And so give the CFO time to ramp up so that the benefits will happen faster than you think after you go through the onboarding process. Get it? Got it good? Yes, yes? Okay, cool. So con number 5, it requires your ongoing engagement. So this is not, when you hire a CFO, a set up and forget it type of service. You want to be involved, right? To get the real value, you need to show up. That means your monthly calls, your quarterly reviews, and being responsive when your CFO needs information. I get it. We are all busy as CEOs, right? We all have full calendars. But if you want to get the ROI, respond to your CFO. Have great communication. Show up for your meetings. Be engaged at your meetings. Have a quiet environment. Ask questions. Send your stuff in, because if you don't, you cannot be upset if you don't get the value in which you want and the benefits, because you didn't do your part. Okay? So here's the bottom line. Virtual CFO services are a game changer for you as a consulting firm CEO when you are ready to operate your business with real intentions. We're talking about financial strategy and clean books and cash flow visibility and a growth plan and a succession plan, right? That is actually built on data. So the pros are powerful. You get the clarity, you get the tax strategy, you get the support, you get the insight, oversight, and foresight. You get a partner that has your back, that you can have those transparent conversations with that you may not be able to have with no one else. But the cons are absolutely real as well. It requires an investment up front. It requires ROI thinking. It requires implementation. It requires the right fit. It requires patience for onboarding. It requires your active participation in the process. And so if you're not ready for any of that, then hiring a virtual CFO may not be the right next step for you. Okay? Now, to get a glimpse into how virtual CFO services work and the things that they fix and the problems that they solve, I invite you to join me for the Cash Flow Confidence Masterclass. This is a live, intense masterclass designed specifically for you as a consulting firm CEO who is ready to understand your cash flow, eliminate the gaps, and build a financial infrastructure that supports the goals that you have. Okay, we're going to deep dive into the 5 hidden mistakes that you're probably unaware of, and I'm going to show you how to fix them and much more. So you want to go to cashflow.sayyesToProfits.com to grab your seat today. I'll also put the link in the show notes and the description wherever you're watching this video. All right. If this video has been helpful to you, please hit the like and subscribe button. And thank you for tuning into another episode. This is Dr. Octavia Conner. And until we speak, say yes to profits. Toodles. Thank you for tuning in to another episode of the Say Yes to Profits podcast. Now it is time for you to make money moves. Take action based on what you learn. Now see you on the next episode. Say Yes to Profits. Toodles.